The owners of these boats are out in our area waters as part of the commercial fishing fleet. It's an industry that's worth hundreds of millions of dollars each year. After they've made their catch and delivered it, processors prepare the many different species of fish and shellfish in different ways and then deliver it to market. In Juneau, there's one business that's using new methods of both preparation and marketing of just one part of one kind of fish.
Of all the fish in the ocean, salmon are no doubt among the most widely recognized and highly prized. It's at the top of the menu in fine restaurants all over the world, and people pay top dollar to have it on their plate. But often they have quite different reactions to the thought of putting some of it in their pocket or purse, or for that matter, for it being their purse.
People will invariably pick it up and smell it. And so the first big hurdle, of course, is to overcome that barrier. Well, it doesn't stink like fish. And then they look at it and run their hand across it and say, will this thing last? And then you point out to them how the fibers are formed. And we take test pieces that we've had here for months trying to be torn in any way. You overcome that objection.
These products are made from the tanned skin of salmon by the Juneau-based company Alaskins. The company started 3 years ago by introducing 12 products. It now has 53, and judging from its sales growth, its salespeople are doing a fine job of overcoming the customer's initial reaction.
We have now between 150 and 170 retail stores in Alaska that take our product. And it's moving rather fast, so we can't tell. We've had a quadrupling followed by a quadrupling of sales. And this year looks like it could be a tripling.
We are a corporation, and we have 8 stockholders in the corporation. Each of us hold executive positions in the company, and we also are the workforce of the company. Each one of us is involved in the tanning of skins. Each one of us is involved in the manufacturing process, shipping, administration. We do it all.
The products are tanned at Alaskins' own tannery, where the skins are soaked and agitated in over a dozen fat liquor and chemical baths. While processing formulas for tanning mammal skins are generally widely known and readily available, techniques for use in the fledgling aquatic leather industry are closely guarded secrets. The formulas that Alaskins use were developed by staff, largely in Wisconsin, and the initial effort was far from encouraging.
We watched the thousands of hides be dissolved in chemicals and things back east that were good for mammals, but turned ours into glue and dog food. It was really horrible.
Another challenge involved in starting a new self-financed industry, especially in a place as remote as Juneau, is the scarcity of affordable and appropriate technology.
So we initially started tanning in 55-gallon garbage cans. And what we would do is, as we put skins in and put our mixtures in, would do our agitation with a boat paddle. Step by step, every piece that we have online, except a few new ones that we just recently got, are all equipment that we had to fabricate.
I kept telling Jerry it would be a great idea if I flew back to some manufacturing company and learned how they did it. You know, learn all about it, and then come back here and could reproduce those ideas and be able to do it like them. And what I found was that when you do it on your own, you have a tendency to come up with a lot of ideas that are considerably better or faster than the industry is already using. I spent money on a folding machine that is virtually almost useless to me, whereas the machine that we built just out of sheer desperation at that time turns out to be able to outproduce it about 5 to 1. The biggest change that occurred here was when I went from using hand templates and hand cutting all of the leather pieces, and we leased a piece of equipment which is called a clicker that is a 20-ton press that punches the leather out. I took that particular job that was eating up 6 hours of a day and turned it into a 1-hour process.
Alaskins is primarily a wholesaler. The only retail business they do is out of their factory outlet. And while they plan to continue product development for the wholesale market, they welcome and, in fact, encourage competition in that area.
The leather itself is an industrial material that we'd like to sell to anybody who'd like to come up with their own product line. We'll even help people develop markets for their product lines.
A product that's made in Alaska has a big advantage in the statewide marketplace, according to Roger, and not just when it comes to the tourist trade.
We do a great deal of our sales at Christmas, which is almost exclusively Alaskans buying it to send outside. We do as much at Christmas as we do at summer.
Now that the Alaskans technicians are perfecting their tanning and production techniques with salmon, they're working on a new formula to use with a different species, the leather from which will be used in a much different fashion.
With halibut, we have a leather that's large enough to actually be used as panels in garments. And that's kind of mind-boggling. The idea of making halibut jackets out of halibut is very appealing. When we can get our production up to scale and get our manufacturing to the scale where we can go into something like garment manufacture, I'm certain that we'll have a very large market.
The future of the state's aquatic leather industry shines bright in the eyes of Alaskans founders. To them, there are as many possibilities as there are species of fish in our waters.
We have the possibility of being aquatic leather leaders of the world. We have the resource here.
While that possibility may exist for the industry as a whole in Alaska, Alaskans' own role as an industry leader may be hampered by financial realities. They're praised for being new and innovative, but unfortunately, those same attributes have made it extremely difficult for them to get the kind of financial backing they need for rapid technological advancement and product growth.
The science that is required to bring on a new leather is really quite backbreaking. And the labor that it takes and just the R&D and the busted experiments that it takes to bring on a new leather really requires some participation by some lending institution or some financial source that isn't within our reach right now. We've been in business for less than 3 years. None of us have any experience in this business. It's based on a new technology in a new marketplace. Those are all disastrous to a banker. Those are risk flags going up every place. We've lost a great edge because of it, and it may be good for us. But we've lost a technological edge in this industry. Several other new tanners have come up in the meantime. The first joint venture between an Australian tanner and a Nova Scotian tanner have gotten together and been formed with state support. So the proliferation and the use of this byproduct and the capturing of the resource is taking place daily as we speak.
So, while Alaskans may or may not become the industry giant its owners envision, it appears to enjoy considerable status as a type of business that both economists and resource managers dream of.
We're using a wasted byproduct of a renewable resource industry. We're also making an add-on value for an export. We're making an import substitute. We're doing all those things that people talk about that really should be done with a resource.
This week on Rain Country, we've been working and playing, and that's a combination we'll repeat again next week when we work to bring you more of our Southeast neighbors at play. Please join us then. And in the meantime, I'm Scott Foster, and please don't work too hard.